I literally just said, "Hi, my name's Tommy." Before I even got to say my name, there's loopholes in the contract. We're going to blow you the out. We're going to block all your talent. This is our stadium. This isn't yours. We're blocking all your talent. The William Morris Agency, and any of your listeners knowing that's at the time is the largest talent agency for electronic dance music at the time.
Yeah.
That's our exclusive agency. We own it, and you're not getting any.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Every Day's a Train Wreck. I'm your host, Marley Major, and I've got the CEO of Juice Entertainment, Tommy Dorfman, with us, and I can promise you this is going to be a really good ride. Talk about a David and Goliath story. Tommy, without further ado, jump in and let's talk Live Nation or whatever other good dirt you want to talk about. So welcome to the show.
All right. Thanks a lot for having me. Sounds great.
Your situation with Live Nation has been going on for years. And I would love if you could just walk our listeners through the whole thing kind of from the beginning. How did this all start? Everything was going along as it often does swimmingly. And then something just hits the skids. So tell us about that.
I was a pioneer in the East Coast out of New York, New Jersey in EDM. It was called house music when it wasn't cool back in the day.
Okay.
So I got into the festival industry. The Meadowlands, the stadium, for any viewers that don't know, it's home to the Jets and Giants. It was a new $2 billion stadium.
Yeah.
And I signed a 10-year exclusive contract to produce all festivals, all concerts for 10 years with the largest state fair.
And that's for the Meadowlands, a 10-year contract.
State Fair Meadowlands is the largest fair festival there for 10 years, starting in 2011.
Wow. Okay. And so that's huge. And so how long was it from when you signed the contract to when you were going to have your first festival?
So first festival was going to be in 2011. My start off was electronic dance music.
Okay.
It was going mainstream at the time. It was turning from house music to EDM.
Yeah.
Reason I signed this contract is I saw this was going to be the new rock and roll, or like when hip hop blew up.
Got it.
And I was putting on the largest electronic dance festival in the East Coast at the time. Everything was going great. Millions of dollars of offers out. Artists were confirming with us. We were on booking flights, staging, everything in place, all marketing in place. And then Live Nation Entertainment found out about it and did a multi-prong attack and wiped it out pretty quickly.
Okay, so let's go back a bit. So I'm an event planner, and I know, first of all, you sign a contract, kind of scary. They're full of all kinds of pages and pages of legal terms. And then second, when you book something, I mean, you start booking all these other vendors. You're on the hook for those other vendors, all the deposits, et cetera. And it's kind of a chain reaction effect. Like, once you secure the venue, then you start securing all those other vendors and they effectively block off the dates to work with you, right? At the time, when you say festivals, what would have been included in that term festivals at the time?
The festival I was looking to put on?
Well, just like the word festival, because I think these days when you say it, people are like, does that include Coachella? Does it include like a stagecoach? Is it the county fair? Like what would have been included in that term back then when you signed the contract?
Awesome. So the State Fair Meadowlands, it's the largest fair in the East Coast.
Okay.
Hundreds of rides. So in an event space, concert space, they built for me to put over 100,000 people.
Got it.
So all my event goers were coming in for a multi-day festival where they'd have all electronic dance DJs, entertainers. Then they would have access to the whole entire carnival with hundreds of rides, shows, all included with it as well. And that was just one weekend, as we were planning on putting on tons of concerts and tons of shows over the whole thing for several weeks.
So would have been in that case like a Coachella in the sense that it would have been a multi-day event, right? But you would have also, since it would have been at the fair or at the Meadowlands, they would have had all this other ancillary stuff going on. So it'd be a very cool thing for people to
really cool thing. And Live Nation actually wanted to be involved with it because it was so cool. And it was kind of like the Electric Daisy Carnival, which it grew to become because Live Nation had bought that. But we had a ton more rides, ton more exciting things with it. And it would have been the largest in the East Coast at the time.
we're not talking about like Fred's French fry shop, right? We're talking about the freaking Meadowlands. Like this is a big deal. How did you even get that far? How did you get the connection with the Meadowlands? I mean, you don't just call and be like, "Hey, I'm Tommy. Yo, like, let's do something. Let's hook up." How did you even make that connection with them?
Well, out of New Jersey, I started off from nothing through house parties, lived on my own at 16 years old, got into the club industry at a young age.
Hmm.
With a lot of hard work on my team,
Yeah.
and a lot of failures too, as you know, with
Yes.
event
Oh,
planning.
yes. Well aware of
Um,
those.
we grew it and we were running almost every major club between New York, New Jersey, Miami. Every major celebrity that came in through New Jersey came through me. It grew from where I was in the beginning fighting to try to get into a venue where they're all calling me to pack their venues.
Yeah.
So I was actually reached out to by the State Fair Meadowlands because they came to my clubs, in my shows. I just won like the number one sound system in the world the year before. I had the top celebrities in New Jersey where like a lot of times they would go to New York, but they were all coming to New Jersey for my events.
Right.
So they reached out to me as a lot of people were reaching out to me at that time because we grew that big with a lot of hard work.
Right. So it's kind of like because 2011, I'm not going to say there's no social media, but I mean, it's certainly way before like everybody just DM'd each other. So you had this reputation, you cut this deal. Shocker, there were celebrities involved. So all of a sudden now people want to drink the Kool-Aid because you must know what you're doing if celebrities are interested in you, right? And so so you're supposed to, when is the event supposed to happen in 2011?
It was going to be the summer of 2011.
Okay. And then when did it all start to go south? So you guys are planning, life is great. You've got this signed contract for 10 years. And then what?
It was in February of 2011. I got a call from the owner of the State Fair Meadowlands. The guy's name's Al Dorso, was a real cool guy that I signed my contract with. And he
Okay.
was like, "Boys, what the hell you doing? You pissed off Live Nation." I'm like, and at the time, just I didn't even know who Live Nation was. I heard of them,
Yeah.
but I'm from the house music world.
Right.
They were never into house music. So
Right.
I was like, "What are you talking about?"
Right.
He's like, "They're gonna kick you out of the contract. They just came and met with me. They want you out. They're blocking all your talent worldwide. The show's over. They're threatening to block all your tickets from Ticketmaster. Said you're gonna get no tickets for the show."
So the guy that called you, because I think it's really important to set up this context, right? For people who aren't familiar with it, but are still like, oh, this is kind of a cool story. I don't know how the industry works, but it's a cool story. So how did so why did the Meadowlands care? Like I mean, I'm intentionally asking kind of a dumb question, but just to sort of get the clarification out of you. Oh, Live Nation calls. And as you said, you hadn't heard of them at that time. They certainly weren't as big a household name as they are today. So why was that so threatening to the Meadowlands?
Well, I had the contract with the State Fair Meadowlands. His landlord is the sports authority that runs the whole Meadowlands. And when they came into him, they were saying it's their stadium. They put shows on in the stadium. They said, "This is their stadium. This is theirs. And I'm not entitled to have my contract and have my shows there." So live EDM was for reviewers, house music was going mainstream. Live
And
Nations
and
was
hang on one
behind it.
second. EDM is electronics dance music, right? Just so
Electronic dance music,
okay.
correct. And at the time, Live Nation wasn't involved in it.
Okay.
Their CEO had publicly put out things they needed to acquire or hire electronic dance promoters like myself. And
Right.
his fear was the lesser known organizations like me were going to
Yeah.
lock up festival spaces.
Got it.
So that's why Live Nation got involved into it because it was the next big thing. And
Got
I
it.
was ahead of the game and they were behind the eight ball.
Got it. And why were they behind the eight ball? Because they hadn't locked up because you had already gotten to the Meadowlands first to get a 10-year contract, or they just hadn't gotten the right talent in place. Why were they behind?
Well, you'd have to ask their CEO, Michael Rapino, why they were sleeping, but they were not putting on EDM shows.
Right.
The few shows they put on were with my business partners running it. They didn't
Hmm.
even know the market. This is underground. I threw it in houses. My partners threw it under train tracks.
Yeah.
So this was an underground market. We created it. They didn't even know how to run it.
Yeah.
So they didn't, I guess they were sleeping and they didn't realize, wow. And then they just woke up and said, wow, this is going to be the new rock and roll. We need it all. That's why I was worried when I had the contract. As you know, anybody can come in, people try to steal your contract, do
Yeah.
this. I protected it really strong. I just never thought of Live Nation because they weren't involved in the music scene.
When you say you protected it, like you meaning You had good lawyers going in, meaning you were teeing up the contract in the first place so that you were thinking somebody's going to want to come into this. So you were having it written in such a way that it would protect you from whatever you could come up with, right?
We're looking at $100 million
Yeah.
just on EDM festival over 10 years,
Wow.
besides other ones.
Wow.
So yes, we put a lot of time, a lot of, money into protecting the contract, but we never would have predicted someone like, the 800-pound gorilla Live Nation.
Yeah. Yeah. Which often we don't. Okay. So what happens then? This guy calls you from Meadowlands and says, oh, they're going to cancel this. They're going to do this, all kinds of big threats. And what do you say to that?
Well, I told him, I'm like, listen, the number one DJ in the world, it was an electronic dance DJ, his name is Tiesto at the time.
Uh huh.
Tiesto had verbally agreed to perform for us. My business partner had booked him exclusively in New York and New Jersey for the last 10 years. So I told him, look, Tiesto is going to perform for us. It was kind of like back in the day, if you wanted Mike Tyson, you'd call Don King.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
my guy.
Okay.
So he was just like, look, I have the sports authority threatening me. They're not going to let me put my fence line up for the fair.
Now we're getting somewhere. So Live Nation is now putting, because this is then how the world works. So Live Nation just didn't go to the Meadowlands. Then they're starting to exert their control in the things that, whether the Meadowlands cooperated and said, we're going to tear up Tommy's contract, they said, well, we'll block it another way. You need a fence. You're not going to get a fence. You need a permit. You're going to need an alcohol permit, whatever it's going to be. They just start taking those steps to make sure that you're getting painted into a corner, right?
Yeah, and the owner, much respect to him, he was like, "Look, I really respect you, and I did this deal with you because you're a really hard worker.
Yeah.
I think he's like, I need you to go meet with Live Nation because they're gonna block the whole entire festival."
And so then do you go meet with him?
Yeah, I respected his wishes. Took a meeting with Live Nation's top executives, the president of New York City, Jason Miller, and their VP of talent of the whole entire New York and New Jersey market, John D'Esposito.
You, Tommy, do you roll into their offices, or where did you meet for lunch at the River Cafe, or what happened?
No, these guys aren't the lunch type of guys. I went into their offices in New York City.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as I sat down at the table with them, I literally just said, "Hi, my name's Tommy." Before I even got to say my name, there's loopholes in the contract. We're gonna blow you the out. We're gonna block all your talent. This is our stadium. This isn't yours. We're blocking all your talent. The William Morris Agency, and any of your listeners knowing that's at the time is the largest talent agency for electronic dance music at the time.
Yeah.
That's our exclusive agency. We own it, and you're not getting any. Tiesto, we're blocking his dates worldwide. I tried to defend ourselves. I didn't even get to say my name. The loopholes, just so you know, and they said there's loopholes in your contract. They were looking at my contract. You know what the loopholes are? I
What?
had to have talent secured, and they're saying we're blocking the talent. So it was really just like a mob attack, like pit bulls coming in there. Then when I tried to defend it, then they said, "Well, we're going to block your tickets from Ticketmaster. You won't get tickets to the event."
And what is Live Nation's connection with Ticketmaster, other than they're probably just a great customer of theirs?
Well, at the time, I didn't think there was any relation. I thought they were like BSing me.
Yeah.
I was like, how can you block tickets from Ticketmaster? I've done business with Ticketmaster for 10 years. And they're like, we bought them. And I didn't believe them. But when I got out of the meeting and did a Google search and it was like Live Nation bought Ticketmaster, I
Like when, the
realized
day before, or when had they bought them?
they bought them within like the last a couple months before.
Oh my God.
It was a merger that the United States government had passed with the consent
Oh,
decree issues to not wipe out promoters like me.
right.
And then they came with an ultimatum to me. They said, "Look, we'll acquire you. You do the festival with us." But I had to kick my two business partners out, and I only had a handshake deal with them.
Why would you have
And
to kick your two business partners out? Because they wanted to only be.
they wanted 50%, a minimum of 50% of the festival. Because any event, they said, of 10,000 people with electronic dance, they had to be involved. So they told me, kick them out. They'll fund it. They'll pay me, acquire me, and then the show would go on. The way they came in and attacked, I'm not a person for threats and bullies, and I'm also a man of my word. So I wasn't kicking these business partners out. One was a living legend in the industry. Just I had a handshake deal just because these people told me so. So I was like, I'm
Yeah.
not kicking my partners out. Then they
Yeah.
said your show's over. They said we just do it in a click of a button. The button's pushed, and That was it.
So this is February, right? And you're
Yeah.
supposed to have it February of 2011. You're supposed to have the concert in the summer. And so they say, okay, great. We're pushing the button. We've bought Ticketmaster. So you walk out of that meeting and what do you do? Do you call your lawyer? Was your lawyer with you in the meeting? Like,
No, I didn't have a lawyer involved in the music scene there just for contracts at the time because no need to, you know?
yeah.
I called my business partners. They were super concerned. And then we started reaching out to the talent agencies again the next day. No one would even answer our phone calls.
Wow.
Emails, phone calls, it went from booking, silence. So just as they said they would wipe it out, they wiped it out just literally in a click of a
Do you
button.
know what they did? Like, did they just pick up the phone and start calling all their contacts? Were they like on a phone tree? Did they send out emails? Like, how did they get to all of it that fast?
So at that time, I didn't know, except they just told me they were calling up. They were going to call. They already spoke with the agents and had all the talent blocked if I didn't partner with them. They
Hmm.
told the owner of the state for Meadowlands the exact same thing. They actually met with my business partners and told them the same thing. And then through discovery, as came out in information, I have emails where they came in, defamed us, and then went directly to the talent agencies, directly to the state fair, exactly what they were saying to me and a lot worse, showing exactly how they did it on a multi-prong attack. To the sports authority, we were robbers, thieves.
Oh, of course.
To the talent agencies, don't work with them, robbers,
Yeah.
thieves, EDM's our scene. So it was just a multi-prong attack. And I have text messages as proof too. So I have pretty much everything across the board.
So with your contract, your original contract with the Meadowlands, did you have a lawyer representing you or were you just signing the contract that the Meadowlands gave you?
I had a lawyer represent in writing the contract with the Meadowlands.
And so then what did the lawyer who wrote the contract say?
Well, there's really not much a lawyer can do to get involved when Live Nation's blocking all the a talent, a company of that size.
Yeah.
There's nothing they could do. You know,
Yeah.
the owner of the Meadowlands wanted me to put on the show. I give him mad respect. Most people would just try to kick you out.
Yeah.
He didn't want to. They have that much power and that much influence. They said again they would just press a button, and they did.
So then where does that leave you? So now it's you realize 2011 like this is okay, a reality. You're not going to have your I mean, did you realize pretty much by beginning of March you don't have a festival anymore or when did it really hit that you were stuck?
It hit that day, and then just following. But I didn't quit. I
Okay.
was trying every single way to be able to produce the festival.
Okay.
At the time, Charlie Sheen
Mhm.
was the number one celebrity in the world. It would kinda be like putting Taylor Swift at a club
Yeah.
like a few years
Yeah.
ago.
Yeah, yeah.
Talent people reached out to me. Charlie Sheen was doing a wanna do his first club appearance. They reached out to me to do it. So
Yeah.
I literally put his show on right next to the Meadowlands, literally in a swamp. Like, when Live Nation attorneys attacked me because it was, like, in cold weather, like, in April. I put him in a place that was, like, a little bar with an outside area. I spent more money on you're done event planning, more money on heating tents with
Yeah.
heaters for Charlie Sheen and putting, like, concrete rocks in, like, just so it wasn't in mud, just because you could throw a rock and hit the Meadowlands Stadium.
So did you go through with the event with Charlie Sheen?
I did the event with Charlie Sheen, absolutely. I
Well,
did
good
that
for
event.
him. I mean, you have to love some of these firecrackers who are like, this is wrong. I'm going to support the little guy. You're trying hard. Like,
He
so
didn't
shout
he
out to,
didn't he didn't even know.
no, he
They
didn't.
just
Okay.
they just they just reached out to me and said, we want Charlie Sheen to go through because the talent agencies trust me with the celebrities." I did
Got it.
everything from Paris Hilton, Snoop Dogg, all the biggest ones, the Kardashians.
Yeah.
So they hit me up,
Yeah.
and I could put it wherever I want. I just decided to
Got
put it
it.
in this place because you could throw a stone at the Meadowlands, which it gave me a lot of
Perfect.
press for the Meadowlands.
Yeah. Perfect. Okay. So you go through that, the Charlie Sheen thing. It's a hit. And then now you've got to replace your income. You've got to like, now what do you do?
So the festival was then terminated by the owner of the State Fair Meadowlands within a very short few period of time because of he didn't want to, but because we couldn't secure talent.
Right.
Then Live Nation took it a step further. At the time, again, they wanted to acquire and hire promoters. I refused it all. So I was nominated the number one promoter of the largest publication when newspapers used to matter in New
Yeah.
Jersey, the
Right.
Star Ledger,
Oh,
by the
Star Ledger.
fans.
Yeah. Hmm.
By the fans. There was only
Yep.
4 people in there. within a couple weeks after, I got a call and my name was removed from the number one promoter because Live Nation wanted it off there. They then and up defamed me through the whole entire industry, and then I was blacklisted from the industry. I couldn't get talent. I couldn't even get back in the business I was at, and I lost every single thing I had and ended up going homeless over this.
Like I don't even know what to say. You're blacklisted. So obviously you can't work. If you can't work, you can't pay your bills, right? You can't pay your bills, and then you lose everything. It sounds like, right?
Yeah.
And then you're homeless. And did you put your tent up outside of the Meadowlands, or where are you and your homeless self living at the time?
Well, I had one nice thing left. I had lost everything, but I had my SL 500 AMG that I didn't want to give away.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, and I was living in, I could have went to friends, I could have stayed places, but pride, I
yeah,
didn't.
yeah.
So I was living in my SL 500, and there's a gym up the street that I was taking showers at, and
Oh,
that's where
nice.
I was at for a month.
And did the gym know that you were living in the parking lot and showering there?
No, absolutely not. I wasn't
Oh,
trying to be embarrass myself.
yeah. I know that's the thing about, people don't realize that entrepreneurship and is so much, it is so risky. And when it looks like you get a big win, it looks so easy. And, it takes 10 years to become an overnight success, or 15 or 20. And people don't see that you literally are sleeping in your car and showering at the gym, or at McDonald's. And so then what happens? Fast forward, because now we're 15 years later. So what's happening? What's going on in the last 15 years that then brings you to this show? What'd you do? I mean, I'm assuming you're not
Yes.
still showering in the gym.
No, so I needed to get a job, and I had been in the business for over 15 years. I never had a job before. I only worked for myself.
Yeah.
So when I was trying to get jobs, the problem I had, my resume was like this big,
Yeah.
number one sound system, all these club magazines, Paris Hilton, and they're like, "What are you doing here?"
Yeah.
So I finally got a job selling cable door to door. What had happened was I ended up getting good at it really quick.
Mm-hmm.
And getting good at it, I was able to get money, make money, and that actually got me to be able to pay for an attorney to fund the litigation against Live Nation.
Got it.
I built a company with it over time, and I've funded that litigation for 16 years now, from door to door, working 7 days a week to do so.
No way. Working 7 days a week since 2011, and it's 2026, working cable to pay your lawyers.
To pay my lawyers and survive, yes.
Yeah, 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 of course, and survive. Oh my gosh. Okay, so before we get very far, well, first of all, anybody who has an entrepreneur who's struggling or wants to be an entrepreneur, like, send them this recording so that they really know what it's all about and what these David and Goliath lawsuits are like. But just while we're in the midst of this, how can people, Tommy, find you? So in case they want to reach out to you, they want to help, how can they find you? And then of course we'll cover all that at the end. But are you on Instagram? What's the best way?
Yeah, so my website's TommyDJuiceEntertainment.com. My Twitter's starting to blow up viral. I only had one friend on it. Now it's Tommy D Prime Tim 1.
Do you have a QR code there? Like, do you have a GoFundMe, something to help your legal bills that we can help
No, I
drive
haven't
people
I
to?
haven't done any GoFundMe or anything whatsoever.
Now might be the time. Okay, so where
Yeah, it's been a while.
right? It's been going on 15 years. And where are you now? I mean, still no court dates, or have you had court dates in the past? Like, what's the deal?
Yeah, so when it first started off, my lawyer said I would have a trial within 1 year. Live Nation was ordered by a federal court to turn over all the discovery information that they have to for the case
Hmm.
within like 60 days. We kept going back to the court. We're entitled to this. 4 or 5 years later,
Oh,
I'm running out of money.
yeah,
They only turned over 5% of the discovery, relevant 1%, federal court order. My lawyer literally says, "We know the plaintiff, meaning me, is wearing out their welcome asking, but we're entitled to this."
yeah,
They never turned it over. We finally had to throw in the towel on the discovery side because I have a lot of stuff on them, but it's only just 1%.
yeah,
We had because we ran out of money.
yeah,
So they've just delayed, stalled, same way they do in the music industry,
yeah.
threats. And there's no reason my case shouldn't be a trial. I should have had a trial within a year to 2 years tops. I have 500 trial exhibits, tons of witnesses, tape recorded confessions, emails. Live Nation has 0 exhibits, 0 witness, 0 alibi,
Wow.
and I haven't been in front of a jury.
What's the latest with the court? What do they say now?
Well, 2 years ago, I had a firm trial date,
Yeah.
finally. And we subpoenaed all the witnesses. I've been in mediation so many times with Live Nation, and in the beginning, I wanted their money,
Yeah.
and I wanted my festival back.
Yeah.
As time passed and I saw all the information that I have of how they run a criminal enterprise,
Yeah.
I want a joy trial. That trial was right there, and then last minute, Live Nation said, "We want another mediation for the 16th time." I didn't
Oh.
want it. I refused to take their money. This trial
Oh, so
gets
they tried
moved.
to settle.
Yeah, 16 times.
Wow. Okay.
I want a trial.
Yeah, no, I
I don't
believe
want
me.
their money.
I've got this fighting spirit you've got. So they were trying to say, "Hey, we'll buy you off or whatever." They want to give you money and go to mediation, seeing if basically if they could one more time try to give you money to make this go away. It sounds like.
Yeah, but they knew I wasn't gonna take their money. They
Right.
just wanted to delay it because they don't want a trial. They had a Department of Justice trial coming up.
Oh,
Um,
they do. Tell us about that.
they just recently had it because that got done within 2 years. Department of Justice filed a monopoly case against them. The Department of Justice actually caved, quit, but the state AGs, they continued. I pushed
Nice.
heavily in my hometown, New Jersey did it, New York, California. They continued the case, and they had to pick up a lawyer within a week, and I know how hard that is
Oh yeah.
because I have 1 lawyer
Yeah.
versus 2,000 lawyers
Yes,
others, and it's
yes,
not easy,
exactly.
you know?
Yeah.
And they won in court just a few weeks ago in on every count guilty. Live Nation found of being a monopoly. So that just recently just happened that I've
So
been,
so that must help you, right?
I think it helps the music industry. It really helps because it can make it if they do the right remedies and break up Live Nation and Ticketmaster and break the
Right.
company up into as many pieces as possible
Right.
to make independent scene to thrive again,
Right.
then it'll help. It's good case precedent for
Yeah.
anyone, absolutely.
Sure.
But my day in court, I'm just sitting here.
Yeah.
There's people look at me sometimes like I'm crazy, like, "What's wrong with you? How could it be 16 years?"
Well,
I would
because
be
it just they keep kicking the can. That's how.
like, I think our founding fathers had me in mind when they said, like, "Right for a speedy trial," um,
Yeah.
because in federal courts, there's I never knew this, but then I found out recently, I was like, "How can I not have a trial?"
Yeah.
There's no statute of limitations on how long it can be dragged out between
Okay.
the lobby power and everything else, and you have to wait, you're at the mercy of the
Well,
power of these companies.
okay, Tommy. So what we need to do is we need to manifest for you somebody to who's going to listen to this podcast or somebody who is a lawyer in the legal industry or in the music industry who can forward this to somebody who's, a scrappy fighter like you and I are, who can move the needle on this and who can say, this is just not right. And let's get this handled one way or another. Cause 15 years is too long. And it's a matter of principle. I do think, I mean, I'm not a lawyer, can't give you legal advice, but I do think that it does help that, they had a loss a couple months ago. So let's hope that helps. What else can people who are listening to this story, what else can they do? Do you want them to reach out to you? Do you want them to quote buy you a coffee? Do you want them to I don't know. What are the next steps and what can we do?
So I think the biggest thing for anybody listening, if anybody the people that care
Yeah.
about why ticket prices are so high,
Yeah.
when the fans that get ripped off every day, that's why I've continued this case.
Got it.
I would have threw in this towel, took their money years ago. I
Yeah.
have information showing how they have 2 sets of books, run a
Oh,
racket,
wow. Yeah.
a criminal enterprise. I have it.
Yeah.
And if my case goes to trial, their top executives will go to prison from the evidence that I have. And that's why I think it hasn't gone to trial.
Yeah.
I recently just sent a press release out the other day to the US Congress demanding them to ban all kickbacks and rebates in the live entertainment industry that
Yeah.
Live Nation survives their business off.
Yeah.
So I think if anybody on here cares about independent promoters that have been wiped out from Live Nation, I'm just one victim. There's
Yes, of
many.
course. Right, right.
All the artists, development that's been destroyed, and if you're pissed that you pay so much money for tickets every single day. You can be in the music world, sports
Yeah.
fans, they're complaining to me. They're reaching out to me, supporting
Yeah.
me. They can go to their legislatures and tell
Ah,
them, like,
okay.
listen,
That's good.
act. I'm telling people, look, Live Nation spends a lot of money on lobbyists, a lot.
Yes. Yeah.
But lobbyists don't vote,
Yeah.
voters vote. This is bipartisan.
Yeah.
When do you get it? This is a bipartisan state
Right.
AGs that took them to trial. So if
Oh,
you reach out
interesting.
to your
Interesting. Yeah, because
yeah,
Democrats and Republicans, everybody likes music and everybody likes entertainment. And well, isn't this a little bit like the Taylor Swift fight where she was fighting to get her music back and all and like I mean, it's the whole like
the Taylor Swift thing started this for the Monopoly trial. When she
really.
was complaining about the Live Nation Ticketmaster tickets and the Swifties came out, and the Swifties are actually supporting me, the groups, which is pretty cool. But when she first came out with that, this was what triggered this through Congress and then to the Department of Justice, plus information that came out in my case. It was by a late Congressman, Bill Pascrell, New Jersey.
Hmm.
He found information of an expert report that I had that Live Nation had suppressed.
Yeah.
He They accidentally put it on the public court website. It'd
Oh.
been sitting there, no one knew. Biggest lawyer upsie. He sent it to Congress and the Department of Justice. Within 2 months, the DOJ filed their lawsuit against Live
Oh,
Nation.
nice. So there are a lot of places to hit, and hopefully, I did a segment. I think it was last October, November when Taylor Swift's new album was coming out, and I did the segment at her childhood home, which was hilarious. So, all right. So, Tommy, again, how can people buy you coffee, find you, reach out if they've got somebody that they think can help? What's the best way?
Tommy D, juiceentertainment.com. And then if you Google my name, Tommy Dorfman, Tommy D,
Yep.
my social sites I don't know them off the top of my head, between my Instagram, TikTok, and then my Twitter is Tommy D Prime Tim, TIM 1. If you could follow there, share your support, demand for justice,
Yep.
and demand lower ticket prices because that's what I'm demanding. I'm doing this for the fans and for the industry I love.
I love it. I love it. Well, I think this is great. And please, we'd love to have you back. And please keep us posted. And please keep, updating us. We're at the Party Goddess on Instagram. And if you are just listening to this on Apple or Spotify, again, please share this episode with. Now we aren't just going to share with entrepreneurs who, want to have a good story to share or want some to know what a real fight is like. But for people who are interested in not having to pay these crazy ticket prices and not having these ticket monopolies. So share it with them. And if you're listening, as I say, if you're just listening on your favorite podcast channel, make sure you watch our YouTube channel at The Prophet Goddess, and you can see Tommy live. And Tommy, you've got a great assistant, Gianna. She wrote a very well thought out email to me, and I just jumped. I was like, yes, I would love to have him. So whatever we can do to help. I always like to try to help the little guy and the underdog. So on that
Yeah,
note,
she is awesome. It's me. People think I have an army behind me. It's me and her.
yep,
The only one loyal with me. It's me and her
yep,
versus a $36 billion company.
yep. So we need a lot of help. And I think the Swifties are the ones to start the campaign. Okay. Well, Tommy, it has been a pleasure. Say hi to Gianna. Please keep us posted and let us know what's going on with this. Send us some stuff at the Party Goddess on Instagram, and we can just keep sharing it with our audience. All right.